you run your life, you just make it harder. Try walking down easy street and move to the rhythm of the sound.
Hello and welcome to Globetrotting with Gillespie. Yes, it's me, Dana. And really we are globetrotting today because I'm in the most amazing place in Wales, near Carmarthen. It's called the Golden Grove. And I'm standing next to yet another of my cousins. The Buxton family is always a joke. We used to breed like rabbits, apparently. But actually, I'd like you to meet Frances Jones Davies.
Hello.
So the reason I'm here is that last night I did a gig at this place, and it's quite extraordinary. We'll do a little tour of it later, but we're standing in this extraordinary grounds and with this amazing building, and I want Frances to tell me all about the house and everything and how she first became involved. So Frances, well, we can start. Well, no, should we just go in and, look at the view here? Let's go in and get comfortable, and we'll get to meet also the man who's the actual owner of this place. Should we stagger in?
Okay.
Because here's the little cafe, actually, where people can, eat and drink and be merry. But the building itself, which we go to, is just down the road. And I was very lucky to be in this place. I mean, what a joy. So, Frances, get in onto the sofa, get comfortable.
I'll be with you in 1 minute.
That's the voice of the big boss at the back. But we're going to start with Frances. So tell us about Golden Grove, and which is meant to be haunted, by the way. Tell us how you got involved, and as much as you can, give us info on this extraordinary place.
Okay, well, our lovely MP, Adam Price, who's the head of Pikecombe at the moment, introduced me to Richard one evening, and he basically said, I think you'll be perfect for each other. So, Richard then offered me a job here. And that was about 3.5 years ago or so. And here I've been ever since, working in this incredibly beautiful place, which is wonderful because every day I see beautiful things that, I'll drive in and the deer will be on the driveway. There'll be, it might be baby frogs or columns of caterpillars and toads, and it's just incredibly beautiful. And it was like, it was very overgrown when I first came here because it had been neglected for many years, and a huge amount of clearing has gone on to actually reveal. When I first came, you couldn't see the west end of the stable block. And, but Richard has a vision. He wants to return it to the original vision of Wyattville, who was the architect. And he wants to, it's a perfect example of the Georgian fashion for the reveal, which is all about the wonderful pictures that you see out of the window, and this cafe is perfect for all of
Now
this.
you told me that the place has got the second longest house in the United Kingdom, which is pretty amazing actually when you think of all of the buildings that we have.
Yeah.
And it's got this extraordinary grey stone to it. I mean, it's got a slightly haunted Gothic look to it. I mean, could look sinister if you were in mists and things.
Yes, Richard always calls it the Bates Motel. He says it reminds him of Psycho. And I have to confess that when I first saw it, I didn't really like it very much. I thought it was that sort of ugly Scottish baronial, rather stark. But it's actually, I've come to think it's rather lovely, and because it's got so many very pretty features that Wyattville incorporated within this sort of...
Where was Wyattville from? I mean, I think architects are important and should be talked about.
When at the time the Corder, this was built by the Corder family, Thane of,
yes. C-A-W-D-O-R.
Yes. And they started, it was 1826, and at that time Wyattville was giving Windsor Castle a makeover, and George III, I think it was a bit of a cleanliness freak, and he was having showers put into all the royal residences because he was very, very keen on regular daily washing, which was considered to actually be quite unhealthy in general in those days. And so this house, when it was built, was pretty state-of-the-art as well. They had water closets, running water. The pipes are amazing. But he was building this at the same time as doing up Windsor Castle.
Well, it's extraordinary. I'm hoping that the boss of it all he's at the back of the cafe making himself, I think, a boiled egg or a cup of coffee, but he will come and join us shortly.
It was also built with central heating.
Unheard of. There's
yes,
still buildings that
absolutely.
don't have that.
And it's got a massive furnace down in the basement. And they had a stoker there all day, every day, stoking on the coal. And the main house is a sort of double skin with vents. And people couldn't believe it because they'd come and they'd wander around and there'd be this warm air wafting about the place. So
incredible.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, are there any books on this place? Is it known, or is it... Because the thing is actually to raise money to try and restore it to its former glory, which might take a lifetime. Hang on. Before you answer, come in, Richard. The boss of this, come and sit down here.
Hello,
He's got his boiled egg, and this is Richard Salmon, who probably, one could say, in a moment of madness, bought this extraordinary building, and Richard is the boss. Can we find out what moved you that you...
Maybe, with the way you put it, Dana, makes me think it might have been all about wanting to be boss.
Nothing wrong with that.
You know, buy a house and then you're sort of a de facto boss. And you give people like poor Frances a terrible time. I know
but not many people can say that they're boss of such an extraordinary, huge, amazing pile of bricks and mortar, and with all its central heating and everything in its day.
Well, I thought I would have managed to have bought Monkton House, which was, of course, Edward James's house on the West Dean estate. And when I first went to Monkton, oh, there's my knife. Thank you.
Sorry, while breakfast is going on, I can see Richard. Come on in, Veronica. Just pass him his knife so he can get on with his boiled egg and his butter.
Thank you so much.
It's very informal, this globetrotting, as you can see. Did you?
And Edward James was in Mexico by that time, and I used to drive down from London and jump over the very low gate. And I realised that there was somebody around at that stage. Just come and put it down. We're part of this movie. Because every now and then there'd be a dead jackdaw or crow on the front door, which I sort of took to be, today you can't come in. And I just thought about it. And going inside, all the telephones by Dali with the lobsters on them, and the Magritte paintings in the drawing room, everything was there. And the staircase with the hallmarks of Edward James's deerhound on the staircase carpet.
Yeah, the famous carpet, yes.
And then a man called Simon Draper just bought it like that, who is the first cousin of Richard Branson. And he'd come over when Richard Branson was in the early days having trouble with the money. Simon was very wealthy. And he has a large number of shares in Virgin to this day. Wonderful man. Collects Aston Martins. And so that was Monkton House afterwards. And I had a very deep mourning for about 3 years about Monkton. And then I got very interested in a house called Toddington Manor, just down off the Cotswold escarpment near that place, which has got a famous cathedral beginning with Tewkesbury.
But it seems to me that you always had a leaning towards rather big and unusual buildings. But I want to know what made you suddenly go, this is for me, when you saw Golden Grove.
So quickly finish the story. I told my friend at the time, Damien Hirst, about it, about Doddington, and every tiny little detail over a few drinks one evening, and the next morning he bought it.
Oh, class, you and your big mouth.
Yes. It's not Aston Martins, it's stock paintings. So then, you know, there was only one way to go, which is if I saw a house that I thought was going to be fun, just to grab it. And that was the case several years later here.
So you came and you saw and you conquered and bought, which is great. I mean, the whole thing now I can see, because there is quite a bit of renovation to be done. So I was here last night doing a concert with Dino Baptiste and Tash Buxton on drums, but the thing is to try and raise money to get it back to its former glory, which is where I think Frances is coming in to help you.
Frances is very good about this sort of thing. I wish I'd been here when you were talking about coming here. I don't know what you were saying.
No.
How did we meet?
You'll hear it when we listen to
Yes.
this.
Well, I guess, but it's really, but anyway, Frances is local to this place. I personally think it needs a yearly music festival to raise the awareness of this place, because lots of people won't know about Golden Grove. I mean, I know that people are able to come and pitch a tent if they can. I mean, last night they could come, there was some
Bring a motorhome.
motorhomes were
Yeah.
here. Could they have pitched their tent if they wanted to?
They could have done. Yes, they probably could have done.
Bon
last night.
appetito with your boiled egg. I hope it was laid locally.
Yes, just near Francis.
Now, I was told that the house is haunted. Has anyone actually seen the ghost?
Yes, I've seen the grey lady who crosses the gallery at the top of the staircase hall in a kind of late, I would say, 17th century get-up. And I think she had something to do with a man called Lord Carberry, who lived at Golden Grove before this actual house was built, the first one, and got into a lot of trouble with Oliver Cromwell. And Cromwell actually wanted to kill Carberry, who rounded up people around here in favour of the monarchy.
Well, there, just by mentioning about haunting makes me think you should be opening it for sort of weekends for people that are interested in this. Now, you always see it on sort of weird American TV programs about haunting this and that. Have a kind of house hauntings, you know, come and look for the ghost and enjoy the grounds. And you've also got a pretty amazing arboretum because of the trees. Is this right? You were telling me about this.
Yes, if I could just comment on the programmes about haunted houses, they tend to be really pretty hard work.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and you watch them, and it's absolutely clear there's no haunting going on, but the actors are pretending to be frightened. But
one shouldn't have to be frightened by seeing a ghost. If you see, I'd be happy
quite
to see
agree.
it. Bring them on.
I don't feel that the house. I haven't seen a ghost, but I have often been in the house on my own, and I hear footsteps. And I know nobody is there. And if I hear bangs, I don't think about it because, you know, it could be a door banging, you know, there a window. But footsteps, I simply don't see how they can be explained away.
well, the grey
And I have
lady,
tried to look for them and never found anything.
the grey lady who I've seen who's in ghostly form, she looks sort of ethereal, you know, hardly.
These are definitely, I would say, manly footsteps.
How did she die, the grey lady? Do we know?
We don't, but I think Oliver Cromwell had something to do with it.
Okay.
Because he came down here to London with 10 men, galloped all the way from London, when he got tipped off that this guy Carberry was going to be at Golden Grove, in the previous house to this one, but it was still called the same thing. And his wife opened the door and said, Oliver, how very nice to see you. We're just cooking a deer. Come and have dinner. May have a grand dinner. And he was meanwhile in a chimney stack at the top of the house. And the following morning, having had a very comfortable night's rest, he went back to London with his tail between his legs. And I think this might be the woman who prevented Oliver Cromwell murdering her husband.
Well, I think the place has got amazing history and needs to be known to a wider audience, hence why we're here doing Globetrotting.
Yes.
Because, you know, I really think you should get more awareness. I mean, how are you going to go about this,
Well,
Frances? Well, whoever.
Well, you're the template, Dana, and a wonderful template, because thanks to your cousin Frances, you know, you came and sang last night. It was a huge success, and I was very worried that the place wasn't packed. But in fact, the vibe was fabulous.
Yes, and you know, it was so nice to see. There were quite a few of the older people, and they got up and they were all dancing. And there was a whole load of line dancers, which I've always quite liked. I mean, personally, I wouldn't be doing line dancing myself.
After a hip hop.
No, but it was just nice to see everyone else having a great time.
They said your music was fabulous to do their dancing to. Well, they said it just lent itself to the whole rhythm and.
Well, let's face it.
They look fabulous in
Blues is music that lifts
Yeah.
up. It's the type of music that is there to cheer up everyone. So I think we'd better now go and take a little tour and see some of Golden Grove. Let's hope that next time we do an interview, we'll see some more renovations. But it is an extraordinary house, and I want to thank Richard, the boss man, and Frances, my cousin, who organised the concert. I want to thank them for sitting on the sofa here in the cafe.
And I'd like to thank you, Dana, for a fantastic evening last night. It really got to your audience, and they loved you. And also to instigate this chat we're having now.
Let's drive there, because the house is very long. And by the way, this is the best car on the planet. I have got wall hangings, cushions made by my mother, tapestries, carpet bought in a car boot sale, stickers everywhere, a sleeping bag just in case you have to sleep somewhere. You never know. But my idea of heaven, if it's before or after a gig, is I can curl up in here and get a little bit of a shut-eye. This car rocks. And my neighbour says, never sell it, because I can go away, leave it for 3 months outside my house, come back 3 months later, put the key in, and she starts. It's a she, of course.
What's her name?
I don't think she's got a name. Well, oh yes, the Shagmobile. Not that I've ever actually lived out. Or other people called it the Passion Wagon, because she has passion. She's very beautiful. It's filled with tapestries, and I've got a tiger here to keep me company. My mother turned this into a cushion. I've always been a little bonkers. I like old things, and I will like old things till the day I die. Are we nearly there? Yes, we're nearly there.
There you are. You're getting the full length of the house this way.
Right, I sure am. But you need to sort of probably swing round.
Shall I
and
swing
show.
round
Yes.
to show?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. And you can always come back to me while I'm getting into the distance.
And now back to Dana. I like your wall hangings as well. I love that pale blue on the side of that one. Just at the edge of the curtain, that sort of pale aqua.
Next time we have that pale aqua. Yep.
Love matters in everything we do. Day and night, keep it inside if you know what's good for you. Love matters. It can make and shake your heart. If you get it right, step into the light. It's when your life will start. When you think you can't go on and your heart lies in tatters, know that love can heal. Love is real. Only love matters. Only love matters. Love matters. Only love matters. Love matters. Know that it's a fact. And when you see retrospectively the one thing your life lacked, love matters. Go and let it fill your soul. It can take the pieces of a broken heart and make it whole. Only good can come of this when all your dreams